Good afternoon and welcome to Music Scrap, the Musical Scrapper. It's a beautiful but very warm, sunny day on the east coast of Canada, but the humidity has broken for now, so even though it's going to go up to 93 degrees in the sun, with the heat index, the humidity is pretty low, so it's much more comfortable than it was, but it's getting hot. Still hot. Alright, so got my wax linen thread. Got my book here. I already took the old threads out, so those are that I started with the floss and that fell apart. So part 1 is already still on the blog. I'll probably take part 2 off and put this up as this recording up as part 2 because I'll be able to finish it, or part 2 again, something like that. Alright, so I know which is the back part because it stained the holes green a little bit, so I know where I have to start so I didn't get mixed up there. Of course I do anyway because of the right side up and whatever. I hope you guys can't hear my fan too much, but I've got my fan on full blast because I need it. So, well, I'll let you know, Mindy. Here it is. Ooh, just that baggy's cheap. Oh, I threw out the. Oh, I didn't mean to. Hold on, it should be right here. Didn't mean to throw out the part that had the information on it. Here it is. So it is Lineco Irish binding thread. Let me read the particulars. I need my magnifying app here to do that though. Okay. Excuse me. Alright. Acid-free, unbleached linen, specially made for hand sewing. Humidity-responsive linen reduces stress on paper. 50 yards. Holyoke, Massachusetts. But made in Ireland. And other than that, it doesn't give a size. It doesn't even tell you how many ply it is. But it's Lineco binder's thread. Irish linen. It is about the same thickness as my, it's a little thicker than my, whatever I call it that I was using. It's Irish linen thread. So if you look up Irish linen thread, that'll be the size, Mindy. Let me see, compared to this. So there's my, whatchamacallit, which is flat. It's quite a bit thicker than the dental floss. Okay, I'm going to put that back in the bag because I want it to keep that. So I can use my smaller one because it's thinner than the embroidery floss. Quite a bit thinner than the embroidery floss. I should be able to use my smaller needle. I just keep my needles in a large pill bottle. All right. I cut a little slot in my cardboard here that it's wrapped around so that I would be able to hook the end. So apparently I'm supposed to wax as I go, but I think I'm gonna wax it all first, Eileen, and then also continue to wax as I go, I assume. Okay, sorry, I got my needle in my mouth, so I'm talking with something in my mouth. So you start with your back, and then I'm flipping these over this way. Oh gosh, forgot to take my beeswax out. Hey Dee Dee. Yeah, Dee Dee, I could not find anywhere without paying a fortune. The wax linen thread I found at a place in BC was going to charge me $17 shipping, so I was like, yeah, no. Don't think so. It's okay. I'm used to it. I used to have to wax my own hemp for my bagpipes, so I am used to waxing. It's been years, but I'm used to it. I'm going to do the whole thing once. And then what? How often, Eileen, do I wax as I'm going here? Not for Amazon Canada, Dee Dee. Only polyester. I can't get it. I looked. Not linen thread. It was polyester, and I just didn't know if it would be strong enough. Dot said it would be strong enough, so I may try it next time. And I didn't have a chance to go to Michael's. I will go to Michael's this weekend. I have enough here to do several books, but if I'm going to want to make some journals to sell, I want to get cheaper stuff than this. This was $12.99. It'll do quite a few books, actually. I didn't think it was going to go as far as it's 50 yards, but anyway. Okay, all right. So when I feel it start not being waxy, okay. Alrighty, so here we go. Doesn't matter what end you start at. It doesn't matter how many holes you have for Coptic binding. For some bindings you have to have even, some bindings you have to have odd numbers. For Coptic binding, it doesn't matter. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So what I did was a 1/2 inch from the end and then every inch. So you go from the center out to the outside. Oh, I should do my quilter's knot in the end of my thread. Quilter's knot. You put the thread between your index and your thumb. You twirl it around, cross it over. Now I'm just going to roll the thread and pull it, and it gives you a knot. I think I have to do one more. I have to do a second one, I think, to make it big enough. My hole's pretty large, so... All right. Ah, Dee Dee. Oh, funny, funny. Then you go from the bottom of your cover to the inside of the cover. Pull it through. Pull it taut. Oh yes, thank you, Eileen. Don't forget to, I've got my clip right here. Eileen taught me this trick to clip the signature to the book to make it easier so it doesn't keep moving on me. Easier to pull it tight and keep it tight. So now this is the hardest. Doing your covers is the hardest. But it's not really hard once you get the hang of it. And it's much easier if you use we call them mattress needles, but whatever. Binding needle. Curved needle. Let's just call it a curved needle. You make your chain stitch by going around that loop that you made by going to the bottom side of your book and pull that knot tight. All right, then. Oh, jeez, I can't clip it shut, silly girl. Don't clip it shut, because you have to be able to get into the signature. See? What not to do is just as good as what to do. Go back in through your hole, the same hole you started through, and pull your thread. Now I decided not to color the thread. You can color it with alcohol ink and whatever, but hopefully it's enough of a difference in the white that you guys can see it. It's a really pretty natural linen color. Now you go up to your next hole. Up to your next hole. Come through. And make sure you pull that tight. You want to make sure that you keep these tight while you're working. Through the outside. Oh, okay. I'm going to put those clips down because it's easier to be able to put my book flat. So go through the hole in the back. You can do this with a straight needle, but it would be much more difficult. A lot of extra finagling. Oh, I came through wrapped up. Okay. Whoa! So now I have to make my chain stitch by going around this loop. See the loop you make from going around to the bottom of your book? I'm just going to go through that. Just go around that with my thread, and that creates a chain stitch knot, like a chain stitch in crocheting, which crocheting is just all about knotting your thread, your yarn, whatever, in different ways. Excuse me, sorry, my sniffles. Oh, just a moment. My sniffles reminded me of something. Fast forward at this point, this is a live recording, recorded live on ustream.tv/channel/music scrap. And you can fast forward through any part of this that you find boring, that you don't want to watch, or that in this case today especially you're going to find repetitive. Because I have a number of pages to put in my book. I won't sew my finger to the book, Eileen. After you make your chain stitch back through that same hole, which somehow I didn't get very well on the spine, but anyway, if I'd used a book cradle, I would have done a better job of getting that. Back through, up through your next one. Oh, just the feel of this thread. Oh, it is so nice to sew with, you guys. I'm not really a thread snob because I don't know that much about thread. But, yeah. It is really nice to sew with, let me just tell you. That's why it costs so much. Whoa. Hold on. I'm gonna just do another little run through there. Wax that. Ugh! Almost pulled it out. Ooh, you got a new router today, Dorothy? Hoping that you won't get kicked off Ustream as much, huh? Sorry, gonna keep pulling that. This is my chain stitch that I'm doing now. Go back through the hole. Okay. And that one's gotten loose on me. Darn it. I don't know how it got loose. It was tight. It was nice and tight. Oh well. What can you do? Tight. So I'm coming up on that side of the thread, okay, right? Hold on. Oh no. There we go. It pulled through. Almost got a knot there, but... Hey, Lori. Hey, Bunny. If I missed anyone else coming in, I apologize. So like I was saying, this is recorded live on Ustream.tv, and I don't edit. And since I'm going to be putting in all of the pages of my binding, this is going to get repetitive, so feel free to fast forward anytime you wish. Back through the same hole. And rinse and repeat. Out the next hole. So I have a part 1 to this video where I showed how I created the signatures. The signatures are mixed media paper from a journal, an 8.5 by 11 journal. Gosh darn it. What's wrong with the hole? Okay, hold on. I couldn't get it through. There we go. Alright. It was an 8.5 by 11 journal that had perforated pages, a spiral bound journal that had perforated pages that the second the paper started to get wet, the pages started to fall out because of the perforation. And so I took all the pages out, folded them in half, and I'm creating this journal that I won't have to worry about falling apart, I hope. If I do the binding right. This is only my third book I'm Coptic binding, so. Chain stitch. Back through the same hole. Through the next hole. So I've got 3 pages in each signature. When I did my when I did this watercolor one, this was my first ever Coptic stitch book, and I did it with my dental floss, my swatch book. I only have 1 page in each signature because I pre-printed all my swatch pages, so there's only 1 page. It was 140-pound watercolor paper, and because I reprinted it, it was too hard to figure out how to print it. I was too lazy to figure it out, basically. How to print it if I was going to put 2 pages. So that's only 1 page in each signature. This one has 2 pages in each signature. It's cold press, hot press. This one's hot press. Watercolor paper. And it has 2 pages in each signature. And this one has 3 pages in each signature. So right now I have to pick up my needle again. Alright. So just a couple more holes in this row. It's coming out. Make sure it's tight inside. Chain stitch. Oh, that was so funny. Emma's ATC. That's the crime scene flamingo. Oh my gosh, that's just so funny. Uh-oh, that chain stitch kind of ended up on the wrong spot. Oh, well, it's all right. Uh-oh. And next one. See, I thought I took tons of thread and I've already used so much of it. It takes so much more than you think. Going through the back of the book and in. And chain stitch. Hey, Jillian. Nice to see you. Hope you are feeling well. Oh, okay, before I pull that tight, it's not, I need to add some wax. I think. Just add a little bit of wax here. Oops. Alright. Pull the chain stitch. Make sure you chain stitch. I have one here where my chain stitch, I didn't pull it right up so that it was up close to my hole. You want the little chain knot to be up above the cover there. I was watching chat or something there at one point and wasn't watching what I was doing. Alright, so I've got one more hole on this cover signature to do. right, now this is where, when you're done your chain stitch, you're going to have to think about what your next step is. At the end is where things change just a little bit. Alright, so you come through. Do your chain stitch. But now, after your chain stitch, instead of going back through your same hole, you add your next signature. I'm going to take off my... Going to line up that next signature. Clip it. Oh, I missed one. Oops, that's not going to work very well, is it? Lining up the ends of the pages off this with my next signature. The sides and the top and the bottom. And clipping it. Alright. So now, instead of going back in through the same hole, you go back in through the next hole. And I'm going to add a little wax here. Just one swipe. Okay. Alright. And that hole's in a really weird spot. So I'm going to... I don't know how it got offline. Because I was trying to punch the holes in camera. And... Okay. So, in through your next signature. Go down to your next hole. So now, with each signature, you go out. So these are the next steps are quite a bit easier until you get your front to your front. You do your chain stitch, but you do it between the signature before and your cover. So you're going to go around that loop, okay, between your signature and the back cover. So you have to go, basically you're going back one row to do your chain stitch so that you're connecting this signature, okay, to the next signature. And I'm going to pull and make sure that this thread stays taut. And the wax really helps to do that. If you didn't have the wax, it would be much harder to keep that tight. And then you go back in through that same hole and you work your way down the spine. Oops. Dot, she tweeted that she got home and she's resting at her, well, she's resting at her mom's. She's sore but doing okay. Sorry. I have to look to find the hole. Go around the stitch, the row before, do your chain stitch. Oops. Back through the same hole. Sorry, I'm don't know what's going on. My holes are totally messed up. Sorry, I'm just fixing holes as I go. I made a real mess of my holes apparently. Doesn't matter to me. Have an extra hole in it. Eileen must have fallen asleep already. I know this is not as exciting as jelly plating that I was going to do, but it's getting warm in my apartment. I need to get my window air conditioner in because we've now had a whole week of hot weather, so it is starting to build up and feel hot in here. Hello, are you guys chatting? My chat's not moving at all. Am I here still? It's showing that I'm on. This one got totally messed up, but anyway. Back through your same hole. Hello, hello. Oh, yeah, okay. Thank you, Dee Dee, for putting something in the chat so I know it's moving. No worries. I assume people are just working away. You just get a little paranoid, don't you, Dee Dee, when no one talks. So she'll have to be off work another week. But hopefully this will finalize her healing. Poor girl. Perfect day for her wonderful package to arrive from you, Eileen. Perfect day. You timed that well. Timed it well, girl. Well, I woke up this morning and I was going to, visit the potty people and go right back to sleep. But I checked my email, luckily, and noticed that my delivery of my linen thread. It wasn't supposed to come until tomorrow. They estimated, the estimated day of arrival was supposed to be Friday. So I was like, oh, it's arriving today, and Curry's always sends it with a signature required. So I was like, oh, I better get up and get washed and dressed. So I did that, and it was a gorgeous day, so I sat out in the sun for, I only had to sit out there for half an hour. I knew it was almost time for the mailman to come. Hey, Teresa, nice to see you. I am Coptic Binding an art journal. The papers were from an 8.5 by 11 journal, but they were perforated pages, and the pages started falling out the minute the perforations got wet. The perforations were too good of perforations, so I'm pulling that to make sure it's tight. Chain stitch around the loop. Notice I'm pulling it back in through your same hole after your chain stitch. So I'm on my last hole, so this is where I'm going to, when I'm done this chain stitch, I have to remember not to go back through the same hole, but to go through my next So this is where I made the mistake before. I wasn't watching what I was doing. I pulled it here, which put my knot, you can see my knot is on the edge of my book instead of up in between. So you have to pull toward your signature so that that chain stitch goes on the binding there. Well, Teresa, I did 2 bindings using waxed dental floss, and it worked okay. It did start fraying as I was doing more pages. I used too long of pieces, so it does work if you use dental floss. I was just using pieces that were too long, so it did start to fray, but it never did break. It's strong as all get out. But I decided that I would try. So this is actually Irish linen thread, and I'm using beeswax. You can buy it already waxed, but I couldn't find it at a reasonable price. Because I wanted to try it at a reasonable price to see if there really was a difference, or if I would just keep using dental floss, right? I tried embroidery floss that I waxed, and it broke because it was just cheap embroidery floss. So I don't know if good embroidery floss would work or not. So now I've done my chain stitch. I'm not going back in the same signature. I have to add my next signature because this is how you connect your signatures. So I'm going to take off my clip. I'm going to line up my signatures. And put the clip back on. Uh-oh, and I didn't line it up I lined it up on the edge, and I didn't line it up on the top and the bottom very well. Hold on. This was Eileen's suggestion. She's a pro at all this stuff, so she said, make sure you clip your signatures. Oh, it's so much easier if you're not having to worry about trying to hold your signature in place. Okay. So now, instead of going back in the same hole at the end of your signature there, you're going to go into the next signature. Go into the next hole. Pull it taut. Now, so you always go back one level. So now I'm going to go between these two, the first and second. So now I'm going to go between the first and second. Oops. Signatures. Oh, it'll just be an art journal. I'll use it for art journaling techniques or something. I don't know. That's what I was using the journal for when it started falling apart. Art journal techniques. But I don't know. Back through your same hole. Oops, sorry. Sorry if you're only seeing the top of my head. Back through the same hole. As a visually impaired person, it's hard to do something like this online, but oh, excuse me. So it was a nice surprise that this came early, so I said, instead of jelly printing today, since it's so hot, any movement would make me sweat today. So jelly printing is just not an activity you want to do on a hot day like today. So I'm just adding a little more beeswax there. Ouch! Ow! Poked my finger first time. Alright. Do my between my first and second signatures. Uh-oh. I got wax on my fingers and I can't hold the the needle properly. Chain stitch back through. Now, Sea Lemon, in all of her examples, she shows it using a double length of thread, double thickness of thread, and I'm not doing that, and I didn't with any of my other journals, and I haven't found a need for it to do a double thickness of thread. So uh-oh, darn it. Pull that, tighten that. There we go. Rinse and repeat. watching the recording still, feel free to fast forward because the next pages are all the same till I get to the front cover. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Sorry, just gotta pull through a knot here. There we go. It's not a knot, it's just a snag. Come on. So my niece Stacia is moving on Saturday and is still trying to get stuff packed. Ugh. So she got to Tillman at an all-day gymnastics camp this week to give her time to pack, and Eliza is actually at a morning gymnastics camp. Monday, when she dropped Till off for his first day of camp, Eliza, I guess, was very mad that she didn't get to stay. She wanted to stay because she, of course, wants to do everything that Till does. And she tries. She's a tough little girl, I'll tell you. She'll fall and doesn't cry, hardly cries at all. And so my sister, of course, has been going down after work trying to help her pack. And it's like, you just don't understand until you start packing how much you have that needs to get packed. And she's like, I'm not going to have everything packed by the time the movers come. I'm like, well, so Janet's off work tomorrow, so she's going to go down and spend the whole day helping Stacia, which should really help. Yes, you can use crochet cotton, Teresa. I would definitely wax it with beeswax. I would definitely wax it because otherwise it'll get snagged and tagged. But yes, you can definitely use crochet cotton. They are cute. Sorry, I was just checking something out. Alright. Did my chain stitch. Back in the same hole. The wax helps keep it taut. It helps keep it from getting all tangled while you're working. It helps your knots stay tight while you're working. Definitely needs to be waxed. Well, it doesn't have to be, but you would give up if you didn't wax it, let me tell you. And it does strengthen the thread too. back through. So I'm coming to the end of another signature here. So I always have to remind myself, okay, I'm on the last one. I'm not going back through this because it's a pain in the butt if you go through it and you have to pull the yarn back through. Or the thread, I should say. It's not yarn. Alright, do your chain stitch. Okay, now instead of going back through that, I add my next signature. Welcome back, Eileen. Lining them up, clipping it down. So now you go into your next signature. All right, so once again, you're going back one row. So let me put my needle in. So you're going back, always going back one row to do your chain stitch. That's how you're connecting your signatures. Pull your chain knot towards the top. Oops, hold on. So, continue. So Rebecca tweeted Flint Rock Rebecca tweeted a book that she made after I started this last week and failed because the embroidery floss broke. But it's a what not to do video, which, taught me a lot, and may have taught some other people a lot of what not to do. In other words, don't use cheap embroidery floss. And because of the way embroidery floss is made, I'm not sure it would be strong enough even if it was decent embroidery floss. I don't know. Because of the way it's twisted differently than linen thread is. I don't think it's as strong myself. So do. Still don't have my singing voice back. My talking voice isn't 100% yet either. Oh, this one's really tight. It won't let me in. Let me in. There we go. Sheesh. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, Dot. Because they're like twisted instead of the way they're made, they're not as strong. Even waxed, I don't think they would do the trick. But crochet cotton for sure would work. I don't know what's going on here. Excuse me. So, I think somewhere along my next row I'm going to have to join a new so I'm coming to the end. So I don't think I'm not gonna get another whole row out of this thread. So I'll do a couple of holes and then I'll join a piece. I'll tie it off. It's really easy to tie off. Cool, Dot. I'm jealous now. Now that I'm working with this linen thread, I'm really jealous. If you have some pretty linen threads. I don't know, these holes are off. Very weird. somehow this one did not get scored very well. Or all right. See, once your covers take the longest, I'm just going to do a little burnishing here. Okay. All right. Look how happy Dot is. All those smiley faces. I'll be able to do a couple holes here. So I have to fix this hole. All right. So I think when I do Paula's book, I'm going to print off her pages this weekend. Uh-oh. So I'm doing a swatch book for Paula in exchange for the paints that she's going to send me. I think I will color her thread. What are Paula's favorite colors anyway? Dee Dee, do you know Paula's favorite colors? So I know what colors to make her covers and maybe color her thread. When you're getting close to the end, you want to make sure you leave yourself enough to make a couple good knots. And you don't want to do it at the very end. Not right offhand. I'll have to ask her. I think it's purple and teal, but I'm not sure. I am not sure. To do in Presto. I have had to leave a big 9x12 bubble envelope. Fell off my desk onto the floor, and Presto has decided that it's a really nice, comfy place to sleep. So I've had to leave it on the floor for her. I might be able to get almost to the end of this row. Hello, Muse. Whose name I, for some reason, cannot recall. I'm usually good with people's names, but I don't know. Lately, I am Coptic Binding a journal, Muse, so lots of rinse and repeat. Today, ouch. Oh, Diane, right. Diane. Hello, hello. This lovely thread is so precious. I don't want to waste any. We'll call you Muse. No worries. Muse or Diane or Azure. Back into your same hole. This really is pretty easy stitch. Covers are the hardest part because it can be a little finagly. Alright, so I'm going to be able to get to the point where I'm going back on my next one, I think. Where's my hole? Can't even see the hole on that side. For some reason, I don't think it poked all the way through. There we go. Sorry, excuse me. Froggy today. You want to bind an extra big size one? Aha. Well, I had some large paper I was gonna try and cut down, but it was rolled up and it was annoying me, so I didn't bother. Might. pull your thread towards the inside. Go. Oh, almost made an error. Gonna add my next signature. See how quick it's going now? Once you get going. So I think what I'm gonna do is keep that one there. And I'm going to get another smaller clip because I seem to have lost my other bigger clips. Oh, no, here's one. That one. I've got this signature and then my next signature and the book and the cover. Oops. So make sure they're lined up. It's really thick. Oh, well, I'm pretty sure you could make it work. You can't. So instead of going back in, you start your new signature. Oh. Ouch! Poked my finger for the first time while binding. Oh, and it didn't even go through the... Darn it, Jean. Okay. Alright, so I'm going to do one or two more holes and bind it in like the middle. I don't want to join at the end of a row. And you don't want to get too short with your thread that it's too hard to handle. It's mauve. Well, mauve's a little closer to purple, I think. But you could gesso each page before you do your art for sure, I think. Alright, I'm going to do a couple. Oh, I can do a couple more holes, I think. I'm going to do one more hole after this one, and then I'm going to tie it off and start with a new length of thread, I think. So I'm trying to keep my hands in camera here. No, this is, excuse me. This is mixed media paper from an 8.5 by 11 mixed media journal that the perforated pages were too perforated, so they started falling out the minute I added paint to the pages. So I just took it apart, decided to bind it into a journal myself. And then you don't have the coils to worry about. Alright, so I'm going to tie it off now, I think. I don't want to get too short. All right. So, I'm going to come through. I'm going to go underneath this loop. Oh no, what's going on here? Oh, it just didn't get trimmed right. Okay, well, I'll have to trim that down. So you go under the loop, then you go through the loop, and then you pull that knot tight. And I'm going to do a second one just in case. Shouldn't have to, but just in case. So, my Irish linen thread. I may have to get a spool or something to put this on because this is going to annoy me being on this card. I don't need a whole lot. Because I've just got the last signature and covered upon. So, take my beeswax. surefire way if you have problems threading a needle, because I can't just do this and do it. I don't have the hand-eye coordination. So you put the thread between your thumb and your pointing finger and you pull it back. You pull it back so that it's kind of lined up. Then you're going to, what I'm going to do is I'm pinching my fingers, and then I'm going to lay the eye of the needle over it. Then I'm going to push apart, and that's going to push the thread right into your needle. And I'm visually impaired, and it works even on tiny needles. Trying to thread regular needles with thread, first time, every time, goes right through. Mom taught me how to do that so that I could thread my own needles. Doesn't work on sewing machine needles though, but I don't sew on a sewing machine, so. Of course, all the new fandangled, Mom's new sewing machine that she bought about 15 or 20 years ago threads itself. So I'm knotting the end with a couple of quilter's knots to make sure it's big enough to not come through the hole. Uh-oh. Oh, okay. Just checking my chat. Make sure it's still working. All right. So I finished off at this hole, tied it off. So I'm just going to come down through the next hole. Okay. Oh, sorry. Didn't have a big enough knot. Try to get them on top of each other. There we go. Thanks, Eileen. You know the way Ustream chat is. Just want to make sure I wasn't missing anything. Alright. So when you're joining, you just want to make sure you're not doing it on a final stitch. A couple of stitches from the end just to make sure you can do your tie off and start your stitch again. Oh, hold on just a minute. That was just a text coming in. Oh. Never mind, it's just from my scene points reminding me that I have enough scene points for a free movie. Woohoo, I know. Yay. Now there has to be a movie I want to go see to use those free points. That's the next part. Sorry, I'm trying to find the... Don't know why I can't. There we go. Sheesh. All right, so now I'm doing my last my cover and my last signature and my cover. You have to do at the same time. Okay, let's line up the signature first. Oops. And the cover. Excuse me. So, now you have to kind of think opposite from how you started. So, you actually have to do both of these at the same time. So what you do is you go through the cover. Whoops. Just one moment, please. Give me one moment. I have to check out something. Just one moment. It's been a while. I always have to do this. I always have to make sure. I know how to do it, but I have to make sure I'm doing it right. Do that. And around that. And then in through there. Right? Okay, so I was right. I'm just checking out the video. You can fast forward this section. Okay, I just want to watch one more. Yeah, okay. So it's only the first one. Yeah, okay. All right. Okay, I got it. I always have to go back and watch the cover one to make sure I'm doing it right. But I was right. So you go through the cover, front cover. Excuse me. So through the front cover, then you go, so the first one is the only one that's really different. You're going to do your chain stitch now. So you go down between your two down below, do your chain stitch, and then you go back through the signature. So through the cover, do your chain stitch, and then in through, hold on. Okay, I think I need to, hold on. I'm going to get a little clip here, and I'm going to clip my cover to this signature. It will make it easier. There we go. All right. So you go back to your signature. Now, you go through your next hole. Now you're just doing your two things at once. So I don't know why. Hold on, I need to fix this hole too. I did some serious bad hole punching. All right. What? Okay. There we go. Red rosin paper. Oh, yeah. Yes, actually, Muse, red rosin paper. Barb has done some stuff with red rosin paper. All right, I don't think I did that first one tight enough again, but anyway. So now I've come through the signature, so now I have to do my chain stitch for that signature. Alright, so I do the chain stitch for the signature. Then I go through the cover. Oh yeah, see, this is going to cause a problem. I can't have those joined together because then I can't get through the cover without poking holes in the paper underneath. I measured my 1/2 inch, but somehow my holes are more than 1/2 inch away. I don't know what's going on. So doing the covers is the most finagly part, and it can be annoying. It definitely can get annoying. So you go through your cover, and then you have to do your chain stitch for the cover. So you go between these two. So you're just doing 2 layers, but at the same time. Welcome back, Bonnie. Then back through the signature. Oh, is Ustream acting up and losing connections on you guys? Dang it. Alright, so I came back through my next hole. So before you have to do your chain stitch for the signature before you go through your cover. So do your chain stitch for your signature. Then you go through the cover. Thanks, Bonnie. Maybe there's just lots of weird storms going through causing... You have to remember, it's pretty amazing because what I'm videotaping, it uploads to a server that you guys are all connected to, and then it goes from that server out to your computer. So, I mean, you're relying on power lines, you're relying on the server that I'm uploading to and that you guys are downloading from. So if you think about it, sometimes it's amazing it works as well as it does. So I'm just trying to make sure. It's nice to have this thread that's nice and strong that you know you can pull on. It's not gonna... Hey, Jamie! Hello, hello! Chat can be a pain in the butt because sometimes the chat doesn't move and you have to refresh in order to get your chat to be able to type. Once again, Ustream has fixed something that we were finally sorting out and made it worse than it was in the first place. Yeah. Oh, come on, really? Ah. Sorry, I'm off camera. I'm trying to find the freaking hole here. Yeesh Louise. I'm gonna get it through, but then I've got to make sure everything's tight again. So I'm just binding my book, Jamie. Almost done here. Okay, Jamie. Jamie is fussy cutting. And I've got a knot somewhere. Or a tangle. Because it doesn't want to come through. Oh, there it is. Alright, got it pulled out. Out the next hole. Whoa, Jean. What the heck? One moment, please. Untwist my all thumbs. Okay, make sure you're nice and tight inside there. Do your chain stitch. I don't know what I was doing when I was hole punching these, but they're off by quite a bit. So it's not going to look as pretty as some, but oh well. It's handmade, right? Oh, wow, Kimberly. Yay, Dot. Okay, good for you. Yes, I am starting my Christmas stuff in August. And I am going to be digitizing all my oops. That's what I get for looking at chat. Messed myself up. Digitizing all my VHS family videos. And making videos, gifts. Excuse me. Okay, so once you do the cover, then you do your chain stitch between the previous two. Pull it nice and tight, and then back through your signature. Alright, so you just have to remember when you're adding your cover, you're doing 2 chain stitches. Chain stitch for the signature and then the chain stitch for the cover. So instead of going right back into the hole, you have to go through the cover first, do the chain stitch for the cover, sorry, and then back into the signature. So I just went through the cover, so now I have to do my chain stitch for the cover. And then back in through the signature. So like I said, this isn't hard, it's just fiddly because you have your cover and your signature there needing. Sorry, excuse me, I have to do this off camera because the hole's completely covered by my thread and I cannot see it at all for some reason. There it is. Sorry. How many signatures? I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I have 7 in this book, but you can do as many as you want. Oh no, Jillian, really? Are you making your own sleeves or you bought them? Or did you buy boxes with the sleeves? I'm getting rid of a lot of my DVDs. My store-bought DVDs. Yeah, I have to. Hey Sophia, I'm just about finished up the Coptic binding on my journal here. I'm not getting this very tight for some reason. I don't know why it's not going. It's too far in. The holes. I don't know. I may have to do a little anyway, we'll see when it's done. May tighten up some. Okay, to my chain stitch and back through the hole. The thing is, the videos I make, I might have to put on thumb drives instead of DVDs because, like, I don't even think my nieces have DVD drives in their computers. I don't know. Ugh. Yay, Dot. So I'm getting to the end here. And I'm on my last hole here. Oh, nice, Dot. Chain stitch. Back through. Come on. Where are you? Sorry, I'm just trying to find the... Right, I have to take my glasses off because everything's looking a little funny. There we go. Alright, so let me test it out before I tie this off. Okay. So I've ended up with a very loose one here, and I'm not sure why. Anyway. Alright, so I can go under your loop. And go through that. Pull it tight. Thanks, Eileen. Thanks, Dee Dee. And I'm just going to do a second knot just in case, because I'm always paranoid. You don't have to, but judged pretty well. You know what? I am going to keep... You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to get a paper clip. And... Thanks, Jamie. Thanks, Bonnie. Okay. Listen, if I can do it, if I can do the Coptic binding, anyone can. The hardest thing is the front cover, the one I just finished. Well, and the back cover too, but I'm going to take this because this will work on a card or something, so I'm just going to take this and I'm going to, because it's like valuable. So I'm just going to maybe wind it up on this paper clip. And put it in the baggie. And I need to get a new baggie because I totally ripped this one when I opened it. So one moment. I will do a nice little better flip of the journal in a moment. There's my thread. My beeswax. Put it in a separate one just in case. Don't want it like melting all over my thread or the bag. All right, there we go. And my journal. So in this one, I measured a 1/2 inch, I thought, but it's in too far. All right, my holes on both sides are in too far, a little too far. So that's why it's not sitting closed as well as it should. See? And this one sits much better. For those of you who may not have seen, there's my furry friends. It was too small for me to get the cat very well done, but anyway. I like the stone wall. And then the by the pool prompt. So that was my lesson learned for this one. I mean, I'll still use the book. It's no big deal. I actually have some elastic, you know, headband thingies that I'll just put on it. So it lies flat. Thanks, Dee Dee. All right, I'm going to stop this recording. Thank you if you watched my Coptic binding sort of tutorial. But I'm not a, you know, don't judge me. I'm not a pro at this. This is my third book I've done. Definitely get yourself some linen thread. It working with this linen thread is just like heaven. Most definitely. Thank you very much for watching.